Hi everyone, my name is Matt Haynes. I'm an audiobook narrator, and this is part of what I call self-improvement paths or pathways. This is me liking to set up my week with a mantra or a certain practice, different one each week. And it makes self-improvement with personal life and professional life a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. Now, I'm going to be referencing my work as an audiobook narrator and also a teacher in these examples that I give, but I believe that this can be applied to just about any focus that you have for self-improvement. Apply it to yours and let me know what you think. So this week is all about setting up for a successful trek in the short term and in the long term, and just evaluating before going into an activity or choosing an activity whether that's setting you up for success in the short term or in the long term. Typically, what I find is that the things that are gratifying to me, sometimes they set me up well and sometimes they don't. So let's go with an example with narration. So let's say that I want to take care of a bunch of business, like contracts and that sort of thing, before my actual narration session starts. Now that's gratifying because I feel like if I have all that business under my belt, then I can really relax and narrate. Except if I'm late to the narration session, then things start to feel clunky, and it's almost this, sensation of the old-fashioned saying, woke up on the wrong side of the bed or got off on the wrong foot. So actually, setting myself up for success in the short term would be really just putting that business work aside and going into the narration right on time according to my schedule. Now, let's say that I want to finish a chapter really badly before moving on to cleaning up the studio and setting up for the next day. That's gratifying, but it's not setting me up well for a longer term, which is to go into the studio nice and clean and ready the next day. So, good and wise to set up for the longer term. Now let's go over some of the challenges a student of mine might face. So wanting to over-prepare an audition text, well, that's, again, very gratifying in the short term, but auditions come and go pretty quickly. So it may be time to just dive in and start recording the audition. On the other hand, if a student is preparing a whole book and wanting to just dive in, which might be gratifying to them, it may be time to consider setting oneself up for success in the longer term by going through the book and making sure that you understand the story, that you understand where the characters are going, and also if there are any key pronunciations that you need to take note of before diving in and having to look them up as you go along. So setting oneself up for success in the long term. So that is what I am going to be doing this week, setting up for a successful trek in the short term, setting up for a successful trek in the long term, just evaluating bit by bit what is seeming to be the wisest choice. Thank you so much for joining me on my pathways. And as your narrator and teacher, I hope that my voice and your ears meet again real soon.